While 96% of college students are determined to finish college,
only 46% think they have enough money to do so.
Out of the college students that drop out,
80% say financial trouble was the main reason.
Only 1 in 5 college students have taken a personal finance class before entering college.
83% of college students have a credit card.
3 out of 5 students with credit cards will max them out the first year they have them.
College students are the #1 targets for identity theft.
1 out of 4 has had their personal information compromised by a security breach.
Recently, more young adults have filed bankruptcy than graduated college.
Not too long ago, I was in your shoes. College was right around the corner, and I had some pretty big decisions to make. I don't know if you feel this way, but it was all a little crazy trying to pick the right path for my future. You have to think about where you'll go to college, what classes you should pick, or whether you should live on or off campus. It can seem like adults in your life are basically saying, hey, you're 18, figure it out. And it's kind of fun when you're making new friends, decorating your dorm room, eating a midnight breakfast at Waffle House after studying all night. But making your own decisions is a little less exciting when it comes to paying for college. You guys, college is not cheap. Imagine your luck when the financial aid office tells you that it's all been taken care of. With a couple of signatures for your student loans, your classes are paid for. You might even get some free money at the end of each semester. Road trip. But what they won't tell you is it's not free money. And unfortunately, those loans add up. On average, they total about $27,000 by the time a student graduates from college. That means you'll be paying for those college road trips and class tuition for years and years. That's why I encourage students to avoid debt altogether, especially the debt of student loans. All of your friends might be taking out student loans, but guess what? That doesn't have to be you, and we're going to show you how.
My plan after high school was to go to college. I actually signed last week to play football.
I major in interior design or textiles, merchandising, and design.
I want to go to college.
I have a big personality, and I don't feel that college is exactly the right path for me, so I figured hair school would be wonderful. I want to go on to medical school.
Going to college, pretty much figuring out what I should do, whatnot, save up money.
Go to college, get a pre-med degree, and then go somewhere for medical school.
Just find something that I love doing.
Get a job.
Go to a 2-year 4-year college.
I want to go to University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, hopefully, as long as I can get all my money saved up.
I want to go and teach kids karate. I already do now, but I want to own my own karate studio.
I learned really early in my life how important it is to invest in yourself. I grew up in a real estate family, and my parents were both big fans of motivational speakers, and that means that little Dave, sitting in the back of the old Impala in the family car, got to spend a lot of time listening to some of the best speakers on the planet. I felt like I took a college course on sales or motivation or goal setting every time we went on vacation. One of my favorite speakers that they listened to was a guy named Charlie Tremendous Jones. And Charlie said something that got stuck into my brain. It changed my priorities, my relationships, my long-term goals, and how I choose to spend a lot of my free time. It was that good. Here's what Charlie said. He said, 5 years from now, you'll be exactly the same person you are today, except for the books you read and the people you meet. That hits two crucial areas that we need to talk about for a minute when we consider investing in ourselves. First, you got to read. You have to be a reader for life. I tell my team all the time that leaders are readers. You've got to continually feed your brain a good diet of new and good ideas. Did you know that most of the population hasn't read a nonfiction book since they graduated from high school? Is it any surprise that most of the population, 7 out of 10 people, are broke? Television and video games are great distractions, but they're just entertainment. They aren't taking you anywhere. If you want to get ahead in life, you got to carve out some time for actually reading. While you're in school, here's a really cool idea. How about actually reading what the teachers assign? Well, it works. And when you're out of school, focus on topics that interest you. It's up to you, but you need to be reading something. Listen to this. The average millionaire reads a nonfiction book a month. Don't miss that. And second, let's talk about your relationships. Your net worth and your income as an adult is going to be the average of the 5 or 10 people you hang out with the most. So if all your friends are broke and stupid, then guess what? You'll be the average of all the broke and stupid people you hang out with. The people you put in your life influence your career, your decisions, your relationships, how you spend your money. If you want to win with money, then you need to be around other people who want to win with money. And throw in some mentors who have already had some success. In the end, you'll end up winning together if you learn to invest in yourself. If you really want to know how stupid student loans are, just think about this. If an 18-year-old high school student with no job were to walk into a car lot and try to borrow $30,000 for a new car, he or she would be laughed out of the finance office. And seriously, car dealers like selling cars and they like loaning money. But if you're a teenager with no money and no income, guess what? You're not driving a new $30,000 car out of there. And hey, that's a good thing. That's one time the loan officer's actually protecting you, even though they're really just protecting themselves because they know that it's totally ridiculous to give an 18-year-old with no job a $30,000 car loan. There's just no chance of that student paying the money back without getting behind or defaulting completely. But if that same student, 18 years old, no job, no money, were to walk into a college loan office, guess what happens? Totally the opposite. The loan officers trip all over themselves to get that student as much money as possible in the form of student loan debt. He couldn't buy a $30,000 car, but the banks have no problem handing him hundreds of thousands of dollars for college. It's crazy. Why do they do it? Because the government guarantees the bank against default. They're going to give the bank their money no matter what. Listen, guys, there's no such thing as good debt. None of it feels good when you're buried under a pile of bills with no money to pay any of it. And you can't even escape student loans through bankruptcy. So they could actually be worse than a car loan. At least with a car loan, you could sell the car to get some of your money back to pay the loan off. Forget the loans for cars or for college. Pay cash. That's what this class is all about.
Have you ever thought about why so many students go into debt? I mean, most people would agree that credit card debt and car loans are a bad idea. But when you talk about taking out a loan for school, it seems totally normal. Some advisors even call it good debt. So when you get ready to go to college and you're offered the option of student loans, you say, yes, please, and thank you, as though you've been given an award. Hey, it's right there in the letter you get from your financial aid office. Opening up your award letter feels exciting. You see the list of all different kinds of awards, like scholarships and grants. Lumped right in the middle, though, are student loans. A student loan is not an award. It's packaged like a generous gift from your lender, but really, it's a way for them to make tons of money off of you in the form of interest. It's not just students who are getting confused either. Parents are often grateful for the opportunity to take out additional loans for their teen's college education. And student loan lenders are more than ready to help you graduate with debt. Here's the deal. Debt is owing anything to anyone for any reason. And no debt is good debt. Not credit card debt, not car loan debt, and definitely not student loan debt. Sure, you'll hear that interest rates are low, and it'll be easy to pay off when you graduate because you'll be making tons of money. That one little lie is why we are the most indebted generation in American history. We have fallen for the lie that we can't live life without debt. But debt limits your options, and it's hard to win with money when your income comes in and it goes right back out the door to make your debt payments. And get this, the total estimated student loan debt in our country is $1 trillion. That number is hard to wrap our brains around. Here's the part that really gets me though. $85 billion of that total student loan debt is past due. $85 billion. That means millions of people can't afford to make their student loan payment every month. You can't even get rid of student loan debt through bankruptcy. It's going to follow you around your entire life. And what's crazy is that many people are looking over their shoulder at student loan debt that didn't even graduate from college. Studies show that 30% of student loan borrowers drop out of school and then have to find a way to make those payments on a high school graduate's salary. And you guys, they have to start making those payments 6 months after dropping out of school. And for those students, debt is an immediate problem. It might be tough to turn down what feels like good debts, but finding other ways to pay for college is not necessarily easy, but it is so worth the extra work.
The journey to wealth is a long one. Very few have the determination it takes to live without debt. Many people will tell you it can't be done. But that doesn't slow you down. It motivates you. You've accepted the challenge and there's no turning back. As each day passes, your character is being stretched a little bit more. Your focus is on what you want most over what you want in the moment. You understand the difference between needs and wants. Choice after choice, you keep moving, even when it hurts. You've committed to go against the grain of our culture. At times, you feel alone. Leaders often do. What you may not realize is your vision awakens a desire in others. You can be the catalyst that creates a generation that is not bound by debt. Before you know it, graduation day arrives. You look back with pride. Your future is within your grasp, and the best part is, there's nothing holding you back.
College is not worth the extra time and money. The knowledge you get while you're at college is. So actually learn something while you're in class. Knowledge is the currency in our economic world today. Knowledge is king. We used to get paid in our culture for what you do. Did you lift this box? Did you turn that wrench? Today, we're in a knowledge-based, technology-based economy. And so knowledge is everything. Going to school doesn't mean anything. Learning something while you're in school means something. Getting a degree doesn't mean anything. Learning something while you're getting that degree that enables you, it puts tools in your belt, that enables you to go into the marketplace and be effective, that is absolutely vital. Where you went to school only matters to about 2% of the jobs out there. So your degree, your pedigree are by and large worthless, but the knowledge you got of how to operate your life, the knowledge you got of how your particular genre operates, the area of your study, is what is valuable in the market. College is worth every penny if you approach it from that angle.
Not student loans.
Hopefully my parents. My parents or savings bonds and just stuff like that.
Mainly scholarships and just working.
I don't know.
I'm going to try to do it with my grades. If not, then try and get a loan or a grant or something.
I plan to pay for college by scholarships and saving.
My parents are gonna help me most of the time, but I have a job, so I'm starting to save up now. Don't worry, I'm gonna save up my money too.
Right now, I've secured scholarships to pay for most of it. My parents have a bit saved up in our college fund for the rest.
It's really hard, but I'm trying for as many scholarships as I can get right now. And if I have to pay it off myself, then I will. So.
If you're planning to go to college, the big question is, how in the world am I going to pay for it? You could be like the guy I met at a private college a few months ago. He had the usual senioritis, about to graduate college and ready to take on the world. On top of that, he was engaged to be married, and he and his fiancée had a dream to live overseas and work for a nonprofit. It's a pretty exciting time in life, right? The only problem is he owed $80,000 in student loans. And that's not the worst of it. His soon-to-be wife owed $80,000 in loans too. You guys, that means they're $160,000 in the hole before they ever get their first real paycheck. I did the math, and the monthly payment on their loan will be $1,800 every single month for 10 years. And at the end of those 10 years, they will have paid an additional $56,000 in interest alone. Think about it like this. College graduates who actually get a job in their field out of college might start out making $35,000 to $45,000 a year. But if you factor in graduates who are unemployed or underemployed because they can't find work in their career field, the average salary drops to around $27,000 after taxes. Their take-home pay is about $1,800 a month. If they're both working full-time, one of them will spend 40 hours a week working just to make their student loan payment for 10 years. And that's it. They won't get to save that money for a house. They can't use it for vacation. They can't use it for new clothes or a night out at the movies. It will go straight from their employer to their lender. And this young guy and his soon-to-be wife won't be pursuing their dream to live overseas, at least not for a while. Working for a nonprofit in a developing country is tough. It doesn't pay much. It's not that they would mind a small salary. It's just that they've got an $1,800 a month payment to make. Debt is holding them captive. And what breaks my heart even more is how many young adults take out loans. It's accepted as totally normal. But is that your dream for life after college, though? If you take out student loans, paying off debt will become your reality, no matter what you're hoping for. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can make the right decisions about paying for college by starting with the end in mind. Think about where you want to be in 5, 10, or 15 years after graduation. Imagine how awesome your life could be if you're young, with a college degree, big dreams for your future, and no debt. When we talk about student loans, we spend a lot of time discussing how rough life can be going into debt. And you guys, that's an important conversation for us to have. If you're armed with the truth about student loans, you'll make better decisions. But I'd also love to offer you encouragement of what life can be like if you avoid student loans. When I went to school, there was no way my dad was going to let me go into debt for college. He also wasn't going to spend tons of money for me to attend the nicest private school in the country and party for 6 years. Not a chance. I went to a public university in my own state and graduated in 4 years. I loved every minute of it. The best part, though, is the feeling I had graduating with 0 debts. Not long after, I married a guy who worked his way through school to avoid going into debt. Together, we owed no money to anyone. Okay, think about that for a second. At 22, we started doing the responsible stuff, like saving for the future and investing in retirement. And we also used our income for fun things, like going on a cool trip or buying a nice purse. And because we're living debt-free and we're being wise with our money, we'll be able to leave that legacy for our kids one day. That is such an incredible feeling, and I want you to experience that too.